Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Let's Get Together, a social club for seniors. And this Dementia Friendly Fort Worth program, it is being recorded for future viewing on our YouTube and other media channels. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you can stay current on all of our future recordings. But this program is made possible in part through funding from Arrow Cares by Lockheed Martin employees and also from Hesta Stewart Christian Trust. And I am Heather, your host for the program today, and we are doing Where in the World is Heather? So the Where in the World is Heather program starts with, Steve, very broad clues about where I am, and then we get a little bit more granular. Okay. Let me get my PowerPoint shared, and I want to share it with volume because there's a little video that goes with it. Share with sound. Dun, 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 dun. All right, now I need to do the slideshow and show from the beginning. Can you see it? Is
Yes.
it showing on your screen? Okay. Where in the world is Heather? Today is the 5th. Why do I have April 5th on there? Today's not the 5th. Today's the 1st. Let's change that.
First of June. Yeah.
I think April 5th was the last time I did. No, I did one in May. I don't know where April 5th came from. Maybe I should have another cup of coffee. But a little clue as to where I am, still in the United States. I am in a town that is no longer called Philadelphia. I put this clue in here thinking, I'm in my gut, I kind of think Steve might know this. But this town was called Philadelphia until after it was formally named Philadelphia. The patrons of the town recognized that there was another town called Philadelphia, so they changed it and renamed it in honor of Captain William Arnold, who was a military delegate. He did a lot for the town. Is that ringing a bell at all?
Not yet.
Okay. So just a little bit about Captain William Arnold. He was in the military in the 1700s. He kind of worked with some local settlers and Native Americans in that area to, settle squabbles and that sort of thing. But after he left the military, he had this focus on education. And so he started a seminary in town in 1821. And he owned quite a bit of property. So he donated a couple of acres to for some public buildings to be built, and quite a bit of wood for the buildings and firewood and that sort of thing. And there was a large spring in the center of one of the some of the acreage that he donated. And that spring was used to provide the local town, and it's still water is still coming from that spring still today on the grounds of like this huge First Baptist church that's there.
Okay.
So there's some small town kind of history to this place that I visited. Any clues about what state I'm in?
Pennsylvania, I think.
Not far.
No.
Not far. So this I'm actually in a town in Kentucky.
Okay.
So I traveled there quite a number of years ago. Jason had some sort of a military class there. I don't remember. He was at Fort Knox.
Okay.
But we traveled to this specific town while he had, a break for the weekend. But it's a teeny tiny small town in Kentucky that we went to see. It's really known for its, its main street and the charm and all of that kind of
Mhm.
stuff that's full of like little shops and restaurants and boutiques and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I was doing a little bit of research on Kentucky, and I didn't realize that Kentucky's state motto was "United we stand, divided we fall." But in looking back, and Abraham Lincoln was born in Kentucky, I can kind of see how that phrase was adopted. Anyway, it's known for Kentucky as a state is known for a ton of different things, but a few little known things. I didn't realize it was the bluegrass state, and it's also considered the horse capital of the world. Did you know those two little tidbits?
I did know those tidbits, yes.
Did you know that Post-it notes were invented in Kentucky also?
No.
I didn't know that either until this morning. I thought, let me just add another little blurb here and there, add some color to it. Yep, Post-it notes were invented, and the first American public performance of a Beethoven symphony was in Kentucky. So a couple little tidbits about Kentucky. But the place in Kentucky I visited is just a couple hours from where Abraham Lincoln was born in Hodgensville, Kentucky. Have you ever visited Kentucky?
Driven through it, not much.
Yeah.
I'm moving the map closer so I can see a little bit better.
Okay. There's on this little map, there are a couple of little pieces that stand out to me just because Jason has a family that lives in Radcliffe and in Elizabethtown, just outside of Fort Knox. And Fort Knox isn't as big as I pictured it to be in my head whenever I went by there, but I understand a large portion of some of the main buildings are underground. And so what you can see is it doesn't look very big. But yeah, we went to Fort Knox and I thought, I'm not impressed. It was cooler in my head. So this town that I'm in, this is not why I went, but I found out this was kind of a neat little thing. This town in Kentucky I visited, or the city, I'm sorry. It has for the last 10 years been given this title of a playful city in the United States. There's this national campaign that promotes outdoor activity and movement and all this kind of stuff, like a very active lifestyle. And every single park in this city is open from dawn until 10 p.m. There's this lake that's really known for all of its recreation and fishing and boating and all of this kind of stuff. But they have so many parks and they're beautiful. They're just the neatest open free parks in this town. They have one that's specifically for all of the features on the playground and the parks and everything are specifically made for folks who have some sort of a physical handicap.
Okay.
And they have amended their tennis courts and basketball courts and all kinds of good stuff. They have a splash park that's open in the summer and it's free to get in, which I think is kind of neat. The city maintains it. They have dog parks. They have all kinds of stuff. And the dog parks are lit up with a bunch of neon signs, like little images of dogs and stuff all over the park because it's open so early and so late. Just real neat. It encourages people to get out and get moving about. So we visited some of those parks while we were there.
Okay.
But it's known for its parks. Any guesses yet on where in Kentucky I might be?
No.
Okay. A local lake is named after this town that I'm in, and 28 miles of shoreline. So they have a bunch of events and stuff out on the lake, on the water every year. And people who live all along the lake will get out and cook and grill and hand out, food and everything to people
Right.
who are
Yeah.
messing
Yeah.
around on the water. It's a whole thing. And then they have this huge outdoor park in this town where people go to zip line. People come from all over to
Okay.
that was actually pretty fun. Have you ever gone on a zip line tour?
No.
Do you know anybody who has?
I'm sure my daughters have,
Yeah. One of the biggest things that they always tell you is when you hold on to the line above you, always make sure your hand is behind the pulley. That thing will run over your fingers quick if your fingers are in front of the pulley. But people fly on that thing upside down and everything. It's wild. But this is the reason that we went. We went to this town in Kentucky for the Ark encounter. It's a full-size Noah's Ark replica. It has all kinds of exhibits and it shows all the different living quarters. There's a museum there. This huge virtual reality experience of being on the Ark. Have you heard of this one?
Yeah, it's done by Answers in Genesis or something like that.
And it's like, yes, that sounds right.
Mm-hmm.
It's it opened a few years back, and Steve, this is the coolest experience because you get to walk through all the different levels inside of the Ark. It is huge, and they have these creaking noises, and then they have you hear water and thunder and waves crashing against the boat. On the upper levels specifically, you hear rain, like it sounds like it's hitting like all over above you. And different parts of the Ark, they pipe in different smells. And so whenever you're in the area where it looks like, they have the animals and stuff, you have smells that are not so attractive. And then you have, in the areas where people sleep, they have like little, incense and things, and they have smell of, bread and different kinds of food in the areas where people, would congregate. It's a really neat, very interactive experience. It's so cool. And I didn't get a chance to go to Petersburg, Kentucky, which is not too far away, but it's a sister attraction. And this is where they have this whole state-of-the-art creation museum. And so the Ark experience is where you get to, learn all about the story of Noah, and there's a museum that takes you through different scripture that talks about it. And then separately is this really cool creation museum that have all of these exhibits, and some of them are interactive, that talk about pairing science and history with the Bible. And it lines it all up. There's this huge planetarium that you can visit and all kinds of good stuff. It's like a dual experience. It's kind of neat. One of the things that they have at this Ark experience is they have people there that show, kids how to, tie different knots, and they show different branding techniques and things like that. It's kind of cool. But the Ark experience is in Williamstown, Kentucky. That's where we were.
I was going to guess that.
Were you? Yeah.
Because of the military guy was William Arnold or something like that, Williamstown. something like that.
I was kind of dropping a couple clues, but I thought, nah, maybe that's a little bit too far out there.
Oh,
But my niece and nephew, they did a little knot tying kind of thing. It was kind of neat. And then of course, on the drive home, he tried to tie his sister up into the car so she couldn't get out. So it backfired a little bit.
yeah. I've watched a lot of the videos from Answers and Genesis about creation and things like that. An interesting one was the video, I can't remember where it was, but who did it. But basically it was when Mount St. Helens erupted, and basically showed that it doesn't take millions of years to change topography to what we know. You know, it created a Grand Canyon, it created all sorts of things that people say, oh, it's got to take millions of years to do it. Well, it took it, you know, weeks, and it was done. You know, so anyway.
Where was that?
Is Mount St. Helens in Washington.
Okay. So
when it erupted,
that's interesting to see how.
Yeah. Some things, you know, it did some things to the mountain and landscape that people, when they look at other places around the world, say, oh, it's got to take in millions of years. Well, it was done in weeks.
Oh, yeah.
You know. So anyway.
For a lot of folks.
Yep.
Well, I want to share some of the pictures that we took while we're there.
Okay.
This thing is huge. I mean, look how it just towers over. It's built to scale.
Yeah.
But look how it just towers over everyone who's down below. And this is a picture just showing some of the different levels inside that's built into the, hold on, that's built into it. And they show, you know, what life would have been like, possibly living in there for a while, interacting with the different animals that are. It's just so neat, Steve. It's the coolest experience. And just the thought that went into every little bitty detail, it was really pretty amazing. That's them not smiling. They're teenagers. They don't like to.
You know, I understand that. Yeah.
I'm not as cool as they are, you know. But isn't this just some of the neatest? I mean, I couldn't get over it.
Yeah.
It's so cool. But there's a video I want to show you too. It's just a couple minutes. That way we can bounce before 12 noon.
Okay.
Let me share this screen. I think it's like a 2-minute video that shows the Ark, which is, I mean, again, that's the whole reason we went there. Let me pull this up real quick. All right. Can you see the screen? It has the rainbow over top.
I sure can.
Okay.